and hopefully in the future we'll begin to play offense. So with that, thank you again, but I'm gonna start with questions so I can get through as many as I can.
Okay, first name is Yvonne Beadle.
Right here. I want to know what you're doing about the January 6th prisoners. Amen.
So we've signed, I wish I would've, did I bring?
No,
it?
only 2 people went to view the prison. Why weren't you there?
So I haven't viewed the prison yet, but I've signed on to several legislation, we've talked about it, because what the January 6th commission is, it's nothing but a sham. It's nothing but a witch hunt.
Right.
Nothing but a witch hunt. And sometimes, I agree with your frustration, because we're treating those people who really haven't even got a fair trial yet.
They did nothing wrong.
I'm
They're
in
in
agreement.
jail.
Listen, I was there,
We should be there breaking them
I
out.
I don't wanna break the law, but I was there on January 6th, literally. So let's talk about January 6th for a second. I was actually there on the chamber, right? I will tell you that within 90 seconds, the Capitol Police had us in and out of there. There was no one with guns, at least that we could see. I will tell you that they did break a window, and I have pictures of that on the House floor. If that's a coup, if me sitting on a desk taking a selfie is a coup, I think we're doing okay, right? It's nothing, and then the January 6th commission that they put is nothing but a witch hunt. There's nothing that, I don't really wanna make this about Democrat, Republican, but all that commission is trying to do is focus on what happened on January 6th. They're railroading, and if you look, it's beginning to die down. But to your point, what they're doing to those people that they've arrested, arguably, I don't wanna exaggerate, is a little bit unconstitutional, if you ask me. Where's due process? Where's due process?
Yeah.
Where are their constitutional liberties? Where's their right to a fair trial? And a
Right.
speedy, thank you, sir, and a speedy trial, right? I can assure you, and I gotta be careful because it's not a political event, it's an official event, but, I can assure you, in the future, in the near future, I think things will change. If you can read between the lines on that.
Well, I just want to know where you are.
I think it's a
Acting.
complete, I think it's disgraceful. I think they're using them as ploys. I think they're trying to make an example of those people, no different than they're trying to make an example by subpoenaing all these people in. And what they're doing is awful. And I can assure you that I have been on record, I have done speeches on it, I have written letters on it. What is happening to those people it's unacceptable, quite frankly. Now, unfortunately, we gotta keep talking about it. We can't forget about it. We gotta keep our voices heard. We have to continue to go on TV. We have to continue to talk about it because they want us to forget, but we can't forget.
I have a question.
Tim Romano. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to go through the list of folks who signed up. Tim Romano? Hi, Tim.
Congratulations on the bill you just got through Congress. There's so many issues in government that we can't cover, but what's near and dear to my heart is the VA system. You're on the right committees. What I'm having issues with is getting claims through the VA system. I've asked your people for help. They've gotten the same answers I've gotten over a year ago. Is there anything you can do on the inside to help get them on track with the vets?
So the answer is yes, is the short answer. In fact, I think recently, in the past 4 months, we've gotten over 1.5 million returned to constituents just in the last quarter. If you have a specific VA issue, are you familiar with, let me take a minute and introduce my staff to you, because I think you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. So I have Alex, who is our caseworker. Have you talked?
I'm sorry, what was the last name?
Romano.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you had sent a inquiry, and you got the same answer I got last year. So,
So we can try and have the congresswoman get involved as well.
I'm sorry?
If you'd like, I'm happy, why don't we do this, in just the interest of time, because I'm trying to get through questions. Why don't you guys hook up and we'll schedule a call to see what the issue is? I'm not saying I can move mountains, but I can at least make a call,
Yeah,
you know, as the congresswoman, to see if that gets you any traction. I'm absolutely happy to do that.
I would absolutely appreciate that. Thank you.
I will. I mean, I have Alex and Lucia, Kathy, you all know Kathy, and then I brought my DC staff as well. Nick Hawatma is my chief of staff, and Eric, where's Eric? Oh, sorry. Eric is my LD, my legislative director, and Garrett is my legislative assistant. So, it's our job to help you resolve issues. There's a lot of issues. So, at the end of the day, we'll
Is this
set up a
Ralph?
call.
Thank you.
Ralph, I don't know if I get this right,
I'm sorry.
Dobby?
Daily.
Daily, sorry about that.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Okay.
Okay, I wanna know
I don't
why
have an assistant though.
Republicans are letting the media control the narrative on stolen elections. We have tons and tons of proof that it has been stolen. Why don't Republicans speak up more? Why aren't they demanding, this to be brought to the forefront?
What makes you think, no, let me answer this. There has been so much legislation that has been introduced on election integrity, election fraud, you know, trust, transparency, truth in our elections, right? And I can sit here and I'll go, if you want, I'll go through all the bills, you know, not to certify. I've signed on to several bills. I've actually, my very, very first bill that I put on the floor was an election integrity bill that I introduced. Here's the problem. Not saying it's right, I'm just saying these are the rules of the game. And the rules of the game will work the same no matter which party is involved, right? So whoever is the Speaker of the House, unfortunately right now it's Nancy Pelosi, controls what bills get on the floor. Does that make sense? Not saying it's right, that's just the rule of the game. So, do you, I mean, seriously, I brought it, do you think she's gonna let any legislation going to hit the floor?
At least I know this, okay? Democrats control the House, they control the Senate, they're the president, okay? I know this. But my problem is, I don't hear enough from the Republicans speaking out. They let the media control the narrative.
I know, they
And they could do a lot more. And also with the election integrity, that's wonderful, if we could change that. But we have to go back to 2020. We have to make these people
So-
accountable. Wait a minute, let me finish. The people that have done this, they have done a criminal act, treason. It's
Agreed.
treasonous what they've done.
They've broken the law.
They've stolen from us what
So many laws.
we fought for and died for, okay?
Yep.
This is like the worst thing that could ever happen to this country.
Agreed.
We're not
Agreed.
even a third world country, we're worse than that,
Yep.
because it's public.
I agree.
And they're flaunting it in front of us, and if the Democrats keep up with us, we will never, ever win another election
Agreed.
again.
I agree with
We
you.
have to go back though. We have to hold people accountable. We have to
Wholeheartedly.
get the criminals and we have to convict them.
Absolutely.
Now, there's a movie out,
No, yep,
2000 Mules.
Yep.
Yep.
Have you seen it?
That, right there, they have enough proof to start indictments. Why aren't they doing it? And don't say because it's Nancy Pelosi that controls everything, because you guys have a voice. You guys have the power
What's
to
my-
do this.
Okay,
Even though you're in a minority, you still have a voice to address these concerns.
okay. Good.
Yep.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. I've spoken on national TV. I've spoken to our state legislatures. I've signed on to a lawsuit with Rodney Davis to sue Jocelyn Benson for 25,000 dead people on our voter rolls. 25,000. Signed on to a lawsuit, right? Voted not to certify. I can give you all the bills, but I don't think that's gonna make, that I've signed on, that I've co-sponsored, that I've led on. I've talked about it, I've talked to our our state officials about it, I've talked to Trump about it. I really have, I really have been a huge voice on this. If you can tell me, we can't even get the Supreme Court, if we can't even get the courts to listen to our cases. I mean, think about that for 1 second. We can't even get the courts. So here's the biggest issue too, another issue that I think is unbelievable. We have got to restore faith in our elections, period, end of conversation. Or, to your point, we're never gonna win again, right? Can someone explain, if you don't follow the law, so this is what Jocelyn Benson, the Secretary of State did. She mailed out applications, not ballots, but applications because of the pandemic, right? Spent $5 million of your tax money to say, hey, do you want an absentee ballot? That's unconstitutional. She can't do that. She can't do that. It's supposed to pass the legislature, the House legislature, the state legislature. Absolutely nothing's been done about it. We talk about it, we just have to continue to talk about it, and we can't forget. We
Lisa.
can't let it die.
Lisa, there's not enough of you talking about it.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
You know, if you all, you know, wait, one of the things that the Democrats do is they stick together.
You're right. Oh my
Why don't the
goodness.
Republicans stick together?
Can we move on?
That's a really good question.
Every time I hear about, look at Jim Jordan saying, oh, Mitch McConnell should be speaker. Yeah.
You're
Every time I turn around,
wish
somebody's turning their.
Where the
turn
Democrats
coat.
do a good job, you're right. They stick together and they don't eat their own, and they have a common message, and they all are in lockstep. We need a little bit of that. You're right, sir. I can assure you this, I can't speak for my colleagues, but I can speak for myself.
Well, let me ask
Well,
you,
we're
you
gonna
do speak to your
expose
colleagues,
them,
don't you?
that's for
I do,
What
and
is
I've
their
spoken
feeling?
to
What are
them.
their feelings?
Some of them are in lockstep with me. I mean, we're all in lockstep on that. There's a whole bunch of us that are in lockstep. I think there's a whole others that wanna move forward.
That are rhinos.
Yeah.
Your words,
There's a
not
lot of
mine.
them.
But
Ted
they're,
Cruz.
they're out there, right? All I can do is continue to talk about it. I talk with my colleagues about it. Again, I talk to the president about it. We gotta keep moving forward. We gotta keep talking about it. And the only thing I can say is, it's gonna take us 50 years to overturn Roe versus Wade, but we never quit. We never stopped and we never forgot. So that's what we gotta do. I wish I had a better answer. Trust me, if I had a silver bullet to fix it, I wouldn't have heartbeat.
You have 4 pages of people who want to ask questions.
I'm
So
sorry,
Chris-
I'm sorry.
Christopher
These
Kent.
are topics
sorry.
that you can
Christopher
discuss.
Yes.
I thought that was just a sign-in sheet, I didn't have a
Okay,
question.
what about Bob, Barb and
My
John?
neighbor's got one.
I didn't sign in because I don't like giving all my information on lifespan of the elements. Sorry. I have 2 questions, Judge. The first one's real easy. You open up, say you love town hall meetings and they're very important. When's the last time you did one?
Well, I did a town hall, we did a town hall survey a couple of months ago.
Okay, that's the easy answer. Secondly, in 2020, when you ran on signing for term limits.
Yep,
But since you've been in office, you've done nothing about it.
yeah, it's not
Why-
come to the floor.
But is there a pledge you can sign that says I'm for term limits, and have you signed that pledge?
No, and I'll
Okay.
tell you why,
Would you like to- would you like to-
I'll tell you why, because I'd like to review it, because I do believe in term limits.
Okay.
Who?
I'll,
Who are we talking about, term limits?
for government officials,
Which one, everyone?
well, everyone,
Okay.
yeah, and I'll tell you
So I
why.
have a pledge here. Can I just pass it up to you? If you like it, you can sign it. It's very simple,
Sure.
and straightforward.
Sure, but let me tell you what I wanna,
Including Supreme Court justices, term limits?
I think government officials
Supreme
should
Court
have
justices,
term
term
limits,
limits?
period, yeah.
So not the whole government.
Here's, I've seen this before, and what I would prefer to do is I would prefer to do this on a ballot initiative, because think about this for 1 second. So it says you have, limits 3 House terms and 2 Senate terms. But what about the state?
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I don't know, and here's what I would like to debate and discuss.
Mhm.
What is the right term limit? Is it 10 years total? So can I spend 12 years in the House, right?
Right.
The House and Senate, then move over to federal and spend another 12 years, let's say, right?
Okay.
Well, that's 24 years
In the, sta- in. between
in
state and
government
federal.
as an elected
Okay.
official.
Make it the same as the president.
I would entertain something like that. That's why I say, I think there's a lot more discussion and debate, because if you want term limits, you just gave me 24 years. You know what I mean? And I don't know,
So where's the legislation to refine that and say, yeah,
that's where I think it's a ballot issue. I really do. Is listen, we represent you,
Mhm.
right? I represent all government officials, represent you. One, if you don't like me, vote me out of office. If you like me, keep me in office. However, if we're really concerned about term limits, then let's put it to the people and let's have the people do it. I think that's the best way.
Well, if our election doesn't doesn't get
Right.
straightened out, it
I
isn't
know,
gonna
I
matter
hope
who
to
you vote
God
for.
it does, because we have to have people vote or they win.
Well, and
And I
I
don't want them to win.
How does it
don't think
go?
I'd go down and put that on the ballot for the next election.
Signatures.
Signatures
Somebody-
on a petition.
Petitions.
You have to get petitions.
Well, I think that's what we should do.
I think that's it's a great idea. I mean, look, we got a bunch of petitions going on right now with election integrity and whatnot. Put the power back in the people's hands.
Hey, Linda Whetstone,
You called Barb and Todd Brown
Thanks for taking
And
the
you-
questions.
passed us by.
So I don't know if I have one particular question or comments. I think we are living in the twilight zone in the United States of America. Okay, there is so much shit going on in this country
Amen.
that you can't blink your eye and something else will come up like, where did this come from? I am old enough to know, I've been around the block, this never happened before, Lisa. And I don't know, I can't see who's talking out here, but
You can
come here.
every single Republican, I'm sorry, somebody here said something, it's all the same thing. There's no baby food. What? Illegals are pouring over our borders, pouring over north, south, east. They're
What about
pouring into our country
WHO?
and getting tens of thousands and thousands of dollars.
VA, what about VA benefits?
Okay, so you telling us, oh, I signed this legislation, and I spoke to this, and I did this, is not enough.
Yeah.
It is not enough.
Talking
Shut
is not-
the borders down. Shut them down. Stop them from getting money. You guys can do that.
How do I
You
do
can.
it?
You tell me, you're in government.
Here's what I'm sure.
Everyone's gotta play by the rules but the Democrats.
I agree with that.
Okay,
I agree with that
all of us
wholeheartedly.
Republicans are gonna play by the rules, they don't have rules, so we can't have rules, we gotta play like they do.
I agree.
Get
If you
out-
get three
wait, wait,
strikes,
wait,
I get three
there's
strikes.
plenty of alternative media out there. No, none of you guys, none of you big guys are going to the alternative media and talking about the real problems and what we need to do. Let me ask you this, are you meeting with our governors, our different governors of the states that are being invaded?
Yes.
What are you doing? Why aren't the National Guard there? What is going on here? Supply chain management. Who ever heard of that term?
Right.
Literally,
Yeah.
6 months ago. No one even heard of the term supply chain management. And now we have people going, oh, there's gonna be a food shortage and there's gonna be this, and that. This is insane.
And
This
is our
the United States
sovereignty
of
being
America.
turned over?
It is crazy. So I guess
I wanna know.
what I want you to do is become more vocal, push the buttons. And again, the Supreme Court, the first leak, another Dem situation. Now we've got to worry about that. There has to be more that we can do. You cannot just talk on the floor, you
That's
cannot
it.
talk on
Can't
CNN or
Gotta be
Fox
active.
News, it's way past that. We need to get really, really firm on this, really, really firm.
So the best way I know how to do that is to continue to talk, which I have, continue to push. I mean, if you've looked at anything, I've been to the border with Trump, I've been to the border with,
I know.
I mean, I've been to Panama, I've been to
Okay,
Colombia.
but so what?
Right.
So
Yeah, so
what? What?
Doesn't matter.
Shut the borders down. You know what, President Biden is not a monarch. He's not a monarch. We have legislative, representative government here, and you guys are not working. You're just not, am I wrong, people? Am I wrong?
No.
I agree, you guys. I don't think it's just.
That's okay, this is
No, I
what we
don't.
have these times.
This is crazy. There are people who cannot afford gas. They cannot afford the food prices. You know, we have a little wiggle room, my husband and I, but there are people that don't. They just don't have it. And it's crazy. It's just crazy.
It is, as I said, so I appreciate your comments, I appreciate.
There's so much going on
It's,
here.
and it's only between now, it's only gonna get worse. Look at how long, and I'll share this with you. It is, under the last administration, under the Trump administration, we were energy independent.
You don't have to tell me any of that. I know. And
We
it's
all
like here.
know.
It's like all you have to say, well, we used to do this, but we can't help it
You're right.
anymore. It's
The
like
only way,
crazy.
so the only
It's
way,
crazy.
I agree. The only way to do that is to change and change to a like-minded Republican.
Yeah.
So, let me ask you this. Do you really,
Money's gotta
do
be
you
reversed.
think?
Michigan has to be decertified. It all goes back.
And that is why I voted not to certify the election. So I voted not.
Thank you, Lisa.
But I feel your frustration. Trust me, I never thought I would be in Congress and have to deal with the idiocracy that I'm dealing with now. I thought I'd be under President Trump. I'm not. Listen, I'm open for suggestions. I have tried legislation. You don't want to hear that. I've tried the media.
Well, it's not that
Just
I
let
want
me-
to hear it.
Can you,
It's not that I
can
don't want to
you
hear it.
just let me finish for 1 second?
No, it's hard.
Okay, well, keep going, and when you're done, no, keep going, and then when you're done, I'll answer, because this is more about you.
It's not us.
I
Yeah,
agree.
we sit back and we brew.
So,
day
I've
after
done
day.
I've tried legislation, I've tried news media, I've tried letters, I've tried dealing with, the state government, I've tried, not to certify the election, right? I am as frustrated as you all are. If I had the magic bullet, do you not think I would use it? If you all have, other than just go do it, listen, I talked to President Trump, Trump can't figure out how to do it. Like, he appreciates my voice, he appreciates the fight, but if I have the silver bullet, we have people that aren't even following the Constitution, for Christ's sake.
We're not gonna have a
I
constitution.
mean, I agree, but my
Right.
point is, I want to help. I'm here, I want to help. Instead of just saying, well, go fix it. Listen, I've tried to decertify, I've tried the legislation, I've tried the news media, I've met with our state officials, I've met with the governors. Governor Abbott, I mean,
Yes.
what Governor Abbott is doing,
Yes.
one, he's like, forget about it, I'm building the wall.
Yeah.
Right?
He's been saying that for months.
Oh, okay, well, at least he's trying to do something.
Talk is cheap.
Yeah.
But I think he's actually doing it. He's shipping busloads up to DC.
Which I disagree with.
Well,
That's
what
why
are they
I
doing
don't-
when WHO comes knocking on our door and
Give
say,
me
you're going
one-
on a bus to
Tell me,
camp?
tell me one thing that I could physically go do to shut the border down, and I would do it. I mean,
Why is it open? Why does one person, Biden,
I'll answer that question after you answer mine.
Everything was closed.
I know, because when you move from
Are
a
we working with-
Republican, do
Yeah.
you want me to answer that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, when you move from a Republican like Trump, who had the borders secured, I mean, again, I'm talking about, he had the borders secured, to then, on the first day in office, he's like, I'm done. I wish, trust me, I wish I had the power to go to President Biden and say, hey, you're not in charge, I am, I'd fix it. Unfortunately, so now that I've answered your question, could you answer mine, because I really truly want to help? Well, name one thing that I haven't done that I could do and I would do it. I mean, if I could go and say, Biden, hey, you're out, Lisa's in, I anoint myself, we're shutting the border down.
No, you just hand him a copy of the Constitution.
But he knows it.
Well, then you get the military behind you. There's people, the people will stand behind you. We'll shut it down.
endorsing Trump endorsing candidates.
Listen up, folks, please. Be
We
courteous.
have a lot of problems in Michigan.
We do.
A lot of problems
But
in
answer my
Michigan.
question,
The
do you see how
Republicans against
frustrating it? I want to go do something. If there's some, and that's not just for her, that's for anybody. If you have a specific idea, I'm willing to try it. I am willing to try it. That's what we gotta do, something.
Get Biden a new country.
So,
You could
I
get,
mean,
well,
trust me.
you could get behind Jackie Eubanks, Jackie Eubanks,
You're running
you
out.
could get behind her.
Yeah.
You can work with the Michigan Republicans to
I do.
decertify this election. I mean, they have the
I
power.
have.
I know, but they.
I have, in fact, at the federal level, I voted not to certify the election. I mean, well, okay.
I'm sorry, I don't want to take any more time, I apologize. Well, I know
Don't
that-
apologize, don't
No, but
apologize.
there's other people.
I wish I had this silver bullet, I would go do it.
And
So
talk
if
to
you
your
have
colleagues,
ideas.
somebody else here said it, talk to your colleagues.
I
get on
have, and I
alternative
will,
media,
and I will
get on
continue to.
alternative media.
Why don't we just arrest Biden?
Michelle Nixon?
Why don't we
Just
just
people down here had a question.
Yeah, charge him with treason.
They did, she skipped over them. There were people down here that got skipped over. No, the people down here got
I'm
skipped
trying to
over.
take off of all the sheets because there were.
No,
four
but the first
circulating.
sheet got skipped over. You called their names, but they didn't get a chance to stand up.
Okay, I'll take you next.
Go ahead.
That was me. I'm Barb Brown,
Hi, Barb.
and my question almost piggybacks on hers, where, because of the money we're spending on those illegals, and now you have voted to send $40,000, $40 billion, I mean, to Ukraine, and we have people here that, like she said, that can't afford the groceries, that can't afford the gas, and everything's skyrocketing, and we're sending money over there. I feel, please don't think I don't care about what they're going through.
Right.
But we've gotta keep our money at home. And I have two questions really, and why aren't we spending the money on our veterans? And what about the veterans that have post-stress, post-traumatic, PTSD? And the marijuana vote, why shouldn't those veterans have that benefit of marijuana? Why shouldn't that? I think you voted against that.
The 40 billion.
So, I mean, there's money we could put towards some other things, I think, that are more important.
So let's talk about the 40 billion.
Okay.
Because I think that's a very valid question that a lot of people have. When I vote on a foreign policy bill, I look through it through a United States, a national security lens. It's a lot of money, right? It is. A lot of money. And I wish I had a perfect button that I could push, but I have a yes or I have a no. When I looked at that bill, let's think about this for a second. I've been in several classified briefings. If you think this is about Russia in Ukraine, I would beg to differ with you on that. You have Putin, who is an evil man who would like to see communism take over the world. You have, and you're watching him. And Putin has also shared that he's not stopping at Ukraine. Putin's goal is to take over Eastern and Central Europe, right, with communism. He's working with the Chinese. We've already seen this with the Belt and Road initiatives. I mean, we've seen that with the Confucius Institutes, the Belt and Road initiatives. Weakness breeds aggression. And if Putin succeeds in Ukraine, China is going to capitalize again in the Indo-Pacific. Then you have Iran out there who would like to bring dictatorship and authoritarian rule to the Middle East. That's not national security when we're fighting communism. And we are. I'm telling you, we are. And I would rather spend the money to help defeat Putin and his evil communist regime, then I would send one American troop on the ground. And I'll share this with you. Nobody thought this war would last longer than 3 days, right? Nobody did. Ukraine's winning. If you think this is a lot of money, who else do you think is watching this? Putin's watching. And I'll share with you, this is the first strong message I think we've really sent, because I'd rather spend the money now than have what happened in Afghanistan and spend 4 times as much and lose American lives. So I think this is a matter of national security, to fight for Western freedoms and our values that we cherish, rather than dealing with communist people around the world. And that's why I voted for that money. It's a lot of money, but that was one of the bills that had very, very little pork in it. Because right now, roughly $10 billion, excuse me, went to replenish our ammunitions, to keep us safe. Because we've depleted those, and we are exposed right now. I want to beef that up. So that's who was asking, I'm sorry, ma'am, I didn't mean that. So that's why I voted for that. I wish there was a perfect button, there's not. But I voted for long-term Western values as opposed to have Russia take over Europe, China take over the Indo-Pacific, and Iran take over the Middle East. Because I'll share with you, from every single classified briefing I've heard, Putin is not stopping at Ukraine, and he said it with his own mouth. And I'd rather send money than boots on the ground.
Is Eastern
Can we
Europe,
go back to Michelle, I'm sorry, can we go back to Michelle next time?
Michelle, I'm sorry.
is Eastern Europe still buying gas from Putin?
I don't know. They were in negotiations with some sort of sanctions.
Well, we're fighting for them, and they're not even willing to cut
I'm
their
more
gas
fighting
supply
for
off.
us.
I understand, but I'm just saying that we're fighting
They
for
need to
us,
help
we're fighting for
themselves.
them.
They did put
and
some
they're-
sanctions, but I don't know the specific sanctions.
Okay.
I can get you that answer.
Okay.
Okay, right there, Michelle next time.
Hi, Michelle.
Thank you for being here today. I just moved here from Texas, and I would just like to make the comment that Texas has some of the most outstanding Republican representation. Greg Abbott, Ted Cruz.
Yes.
My first congressional representative is the war hero, Navy SEAL, Dan Crenshaw. And he lives right by where I live. Everybody there, you don't know what it's like being in Texas. Everybody there is struggling, and it is. I'm a teacher, you see it in the classroom, it's very, very hard. With that said, boasting about my people, now that I'm living here, I don't know anybody here except for Witchmer, because everybody living in Texas knows who Witchmer is. And I know John James from seeing him on Fox News a lot, and I respect him very much. So now I'm just trying to figure out who my candidates are. And for me personally, one of the things that I really value in being able to see people together and who's representing what and standing for what is through the debate process. So I was just curious if there is going to be a point in time where you and your opponent will be debating each other.
Unfortunately, this is an official event. Federal law prohibits me from talking about anything unofficial. You want to have a different we can.
Dave Werdolewski? Sorry what I did to your name.
Hi, Congresswoman. Thank you, first of all, for your advocacy for us. Feel like we have a few people really fighting for us. So, I work for the U.S. Army, I'm a federal employee, and appreciate the help you've offered us with the vaccine mandate and all the other attacks as civilians.
I'm not for the vaccine mandate.
Right, neither am I. I got it, it damaged my body, and, you know, it was mandated, so I either had to make a choice, do I keep my job or get the vaccine? So, made the wrong choice. So anyways, one of the things I wanted to ask you about is in the newsletters, you mentioned that you send letters to Congress, Nancy Pelosi and others, questioning their motives on things. So those letters, when you send those, what kind of responses do you get? Is it just basically, radio silence or?
I don't take response.
Okay, so there's no,
Listen, I wish I had a different answer for you, but I don't understand.
so,
Now, what, I can offer a little bit of hope on that. And that's what I was trying to share earlier, but I gotta be careful on what I say on reading between the lines, because it's an official event, is, remember when I said Nancy Pelosi runs the floor right now? And I know that frustrates you. Just remember this, when the Republicans get in charge, the Speaker of the House will run the floor as well. So at that point in time, if you can read between, but we can try and, we have a lot more influence on that. So I think with the oversight committee, for example, we can begin to call these folks in who haven't responded. We will be able to do that with the Republican chair, because they're the person in the oversight committee, for example, or in the armed services committee. That's who determines who the witnesses are. So I would think you're gonna see a lot of things change with the oversight committee.
okay.
And that's what I was trying to say on reading between the lines.
I appreciate the answer, thank you so much.
Larry Briggs?
Give you a little bit of a break here. Mine's not a question, but a suggestion.
Oh, beautiful. I like suggestions.
I'm thinking that school safety, veterans, a lot of discussion about veterans. Why can't we put a question on our 1040 ballot where people could donate a dollar amount to school safety, to the Veterans Affair? No taxes, it's voluntary.
I think that's a great idea.
That's my suggestion.
Okay. Tim Parker, hang on, well, check that. I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, who'd she call? Tim Parker. Oh, I'm sorry, what he said, what the gentleman said was, what, for school safety, why can't we put a initiative like on the tax return? You know how you wanna say, hey, donate $1 to Make-A-Wish Foundation? Excuse me, why couldn't we put something like that on the tax return that, you know, provided help to schools or school safety? That was his suggestion. I'm sorry, I'll try and repeat the question. I'm sorry.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
Jim Parker.
Okay, you wanted a suggestion. Do you
Yes.
know the doctrine of the lesser magistrates?
I'm sorry?
Do you know the doctrine of the lesser magistrates?
No.
You should.
Okay?
Okay, because you have, you are a lesser magistrate, you have the right to interpose for your aggrieved citizens. If you wanna know an option that you should look into, it's that.
So he's talking about the doctrine of the lesser magistrate.
Yes, to me, if our lesser magistrates took their responsibility and their duty to stand up, stand in the gap for their aggrieved citizens, we wouldn't be in the position we are. So, my thing gets back to the Ukraine. I happen to disagree with you on the Ukraine. To me, Biden has all of his skeletons there, and in my mind, when we support Ukraine, we are supporting all of Biden's skeletons.
Yep.
And that is what I object
appreciate
to,
that. I
okay?
appreciate that
So
feedback.
my point is, you approved against 59 other Republican legislatures to approve a $40 billion non-military aid package. And at the same time, I believe we did not support a $45 billion bill for our own people. I liked what you said when you came in the door, that we need to be America first, but we're not America first.
No, we're not. Far from it.
See,
I
we
would agree with you on that right
I mean,
now.
I know beating a dead horse, but it's like
It's okay.
inflation, first of all, we can't even talk groceries or gas inflation anymore, but we are hurting. And I don't see anybody advocating for American citizens. So I was just curious, since we can't take care of our people or don't seem willing to, how do you justify, maybe you already did, but how do you justify a $40 billion non-military aid when we can't even take care of our parents that want formula. We have it supposedly at the Canadian border, we got it in Mexico.
We have it at the southern
We don't have it in in America.
Yeah.
So, I was just curious.
So I'll probably give you the same answer, is I do look at that as the $40 billion as protecting us. I look at this as Russia, this is the first of many steps, and again, I'd rather spend that money to keep Putin backed off and his communist policies, because I don't wanna deal with Russia, China, and Iran all against us. And I'd rather spend the money in aid, military aid, and replenishing our stockpiles than I would putting American boots on the ground.
I'm against maybe putting military boots on the ground, but we've dealt with communism for 60 years, 80 years. My point is, why don't we take care of America?
I agree with you.
Because we're not going forward by sending money overseas, when we can't take care of our people. And I think.
What's to say it's gonna stop there? You'll probably want 100 billion, next week.
You never even asked for oversight. When we ran Paul, we all asked for oversight.
Why is it we only hear from Rand Paul?
Yeah, I'm sorry?
Why is it we only hear from Rand Paul?
Because I wish I could get on Fox News more.
Nobody watches Fox News anymore.
Oh, yeah, I do.
We will be destroyed from within.
It's like the oak
Keeping
tree.
our country strong.
I agree.
We're giving money to other countries, we will be destroyed from within.
And we have to begin to take care of our people. I'm in agreement.
When is that gonna start, Lisa? That was the question. Why are you approving money to Ukraine when we're not doing it here? Here and now.
Because I think long-term, I am protecting our borders.
Well,
And this is the beauty of, this is the beauty of America, we can agree to disagree.
we are your constituents,
I know
and I
you
guess
are.
that's where I struggle with.
I know you are, and I have a whole other batch of constituents which would argue the other.
I think it's a little
They
hard
think that
because
it's
you say
better to
America first, but then you send $40 million overseas. That's, I think that's the.
You're right.
And
What about
it's
fucking
not
along? It's
You're
not about
not
fighting.
taking care of your ninth district, you're sending money over there and you're not taking care of us.
I would agree to
It
disagree.
did go for military, you keep saying it did.
All right.
Excuse me,
It
Lisa.
did. I
Right
can
back
share
into
with you.
Biden's pocket.
Excuse me, Lisa, can I interject something that would actually solve this? Let's get Trump back in office where it wasn't
Amen.
stolen.
Amen. Trust me, I'd be first in line for that.
Well, then you'll be
When I talk to him, that's, trust me, that's the number one thing we wanna do.
That's our solution.
But that's 2 years from now, though. That's the
Yeah, we
problem.
won't have a
that
country.
We won't have a country.
WHO is gonna be knocking on our door.
My name is Ken LeCarry. I'm a precinct delegate here in Chesterfield from precinct 15. Lisa, I can honestly say I've already been out door knocking in our whole precinct. Thank you for what you do, but my question is this. Where do you stand with Roe versus Wade as far as overturning it?
One, fingers crossed, we just heard today, earlier this morning, that there should be a ruling on it, hopefully coming on Monday. I think it's a good thing. Put the power back. Listen, I'm a pro-life person, I think you all know that. Put the power back in the state's hands. Now, we're gonna have to fight, because our governor is already gonna try and, overturn it for our state. But I think that that's a huge victory, and I think Roe versus Wade, listen, we were fighting for 50 years, and we kept fighting, we didn't quit. And it looks, fingers crossed, like we've made progress, but we did that because we all joined together, we had a common voice, and we never stopped fighting.
Does it
Ms.
end there,
McLean?
or how about birth control?
I'm sorry?
Birth control.
What about?
The, Jackie Eubanks, she's running for House Representative here. She's opposed to birth control.
Okay,
And what are your thoughts on that?
I am not opposed to birth control.
Okay,
So
will you
Jackie-
say that?
if
Will you
Jackie-
say that in public against her?
What?
She's
Not
opposed
running
to
against
birth
her.
control.
No, she's not running against her. I'm just saying, will you say it?
That's
Oh my
good.
God.
Okay, I'm sorry, you're right.
Ms. McLean, you have a lot of, I've seen service, military personnel here, we've got veterans. I'm really confused as to why you voted yes with the red flag language in the NDAA, which violated the Second Amendment rights of the very people who are protecting our country. Why wouldn't you vote no and raise your own red flag and point that out?
So I didn't vote for the red flag, I voted for the NDAA, so let's just be clear on that, not to,
But with the red flag language in it.
which allowed the bill to move forward so our military personnel continued to get paid. Let me finish, right? I'm a strong advocate of the Second Amendment right, just ask the NRA or the Gun Owners of America. What we said was, we don't wanna hold the bill up. So what happens is after Congress does the bill, does the NDAA, it then gets sent to the Senate, they do their version of the NDAA, then they do what's called conference. The House and the Senate get together, just the leaders, Democrat and Republican, and they gave us assurances that when it came back to the House, that there would be no red flag law in it, because a lot of us, not just me, but a lot of us complained about that. But we didn't want to slow the bill down. When the bill came back to us, they actually kept their word. It was stripped out of it, and the final version did not have it in it.
That does leave you open for risk, though,
It
by
does,
allowing
but
it to go through the very first
But
time.
if it came back, it would be a hard no, and it would never pass. So it was a very calculated risk.
Cold politics, huh?
It was good. I think we have time for maybe one more before we have to get you out of here. Steve Whitesell?
Steve?
Coming in.
He's coming in hot.
Coming in hot.
Can you explain some of the pro-veteran initiatives that you've been fighting for in Washington?
So, listen, I'm frustrated with how, just in general, with that whole thing. So the very first bill that I passed was the Congressional Gold Medal. Passed that, the president signed it. The VA tracker, or patient advocate VA, and when I say that, that's not a tracker, that allows the veteran to actually get online and see where their claim is. One of the biggest issues our office deals with is veteran issues. They can't get their benefits, they're having trouble getting into, I mean, you can speak probably better than I do, Alex is the one that works on that. I mean, seriously, we might wait, and you probably know better than I do, 3 months to get in to see a doctor. Well, that's unacceptable. If we can make a call, we can do that, and this bill will help push that through so that you as a veteran don't have to go through all the rigmarole. You can just get online and see where your case is without getting put on hold for 3 days. So those are just a couple examples of some of the bills that we're trying to push through for our veterans. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, you have to get.
One more. No? Thank you very much for you all being here. I truly appreciate it. And though we may not agree on absolutely everything, I voted on over 600 bills this Congress, I appreciate your feedback. That's why I'm doing these town halls, is to get the feedback and to listen to you. Again, if you have issues, if you have questions, contact me, contact my office. I know I'm not perfect. Don't believe that, honey. But together we can work and be stronger. And I think at the end of the day, we need to remember who our fight is really with. So with that, thank you all for being here. I truly appreciate you spending time on Saturday.